Hello everyone, come back to my classes. So, we will see the next topic. We have studied all the use case diagrams in the previous sessions. So, now we are going for the next topic. So, that is using the knowledge of the domain. Okay. So, till now we have studied all the use case diagrams, registering a member, adding a member, renewing a member, member transactions, so holding a book, processing a old, so removing a old. So, all these use cases we have seen now. Now, we are going for the analyzing of the domains. So, means what is a domain? So, how we are going to analyze the domain? Okay. So, domain is nothing but an area. Okay. So, in which area you are going to work, we are going to ask like that, right? So, that is what you are going to denote it as a domain. So, in this particular concept, so we are going to focus on how we are going to analyze the domain systems. So, very first I have written, so we need to analyze the related applications. So, means how the applications are related to each other. One application is related to another applications, how it is dependent on each other, the class is dependent on another classes, the object dependent on another object. So, how they are correlated to each other. So, in which environment they have been developed. So, we need to analyze these things. So, that is why I have taken analyzing related applications. So, related application analyzing will give rise to the complete designs, means the domain part. So, the domain in which we are going to work. So, we will give the information means we are going to work in the same domain, means that will be helpful to analyze the related patterns, related designs, related implementation. So, that is why it is very important to analyze the related applications, means that is nothing but the software, related softwares. Then we have got a area specific for the development, means I told you a domain is nothing but some specific environment where we are going to do our research, our design or an implementation. In the previous topics or throughout this topic, we are going to carry out the library system as a case study, right. So, that is one domain for me. In the same way, you have got so many domains, computer networks, big data, data mining, so many domains are there. So, all those domains are going to be the area specific to some area, specific to some topics we are going to consider the domain. So, that is why I have taken an example. So, I have means we have studied the library system, right. So, that is why I have taken a library here. So, you can even do the domain research on the books, maybe the college, universities. So, all will become a different domains, means a topic of research or area of specific application, specific topics. So, that all needs to be done as a domain analysis. So, moving forward, so you have got a diagrammatic representation how we are going to do the domain analysis. So, domain analysis, so what it is going to take as an input, so it is going to consider literature survey, surveys, interviews, software. We have bifurcated these things, literature and survey, in a different format. Literature means, so what we are going to do, so we are going to consider the previous data that is being analyzed in the same topic. So, in a project and all, what you are going to do, you are going to study the previous research papers, means you are going to perform some studies there, then you are going to give some data, we are going to take some data from that one. In the same way, here also we are going to provide a literature surveys. So, survey is nothing but means studying some specific area, and you are going to get the required information from that survey. So, you may be providing that survey through the documents, you may give sheets to our members or a area of a specific people. For example, if you want to study the women's of some category or the women's problems, so what you are going to do, you need to contact some women, so you need to provide some sheets to them by mentioning some of the points there. So, they are going to give you the feedback, so you can take back that feedback and analyze how the women are facing the problems. So, you need to do the survey like this. So, if you want to consider the problems like that, so you need to have n numbers of people involved in that one. So, we cannot actually go and collect from each and every woman that is present here. So, I'll just apply the survey to some of the people. Out of 100, I may apply for 10 members, and I'll summarize the same to all 100 members may be facing the same issue. So, those things we are going to term it as a surveys. Okay. And coming to the interviews, so here in the interviews there will be a interaction between the question one who is asking and the person who is answering the thing. So you means the everything, the interrogation will be there. So through the interrogation we are getting the information. Here in the literature surveys, so we are going to get a information through some documents or providing some links or getting a data from the entering of that customers. So by that way we are going to get a details. But here in the interviews we are going going to ask the questions. So the required questions we are going to form before only. So or even you can ask the question immediately, means the ongoing questions can be asked. So you can prepare the questions before itself, before the interview began. So you can even prepare the questions. Okay, so two kinds of interviews you can go with. Okay, so that is the open interview. So open interview means the questions are not prepared before. So those questions will be asked immediately there itself, right? So those kinds of interviews you can perform and you can get the information collected. So that is one kind of analysis. And the software related means you will be having plenty of software related to the subject you are going to design or implement. So you can study the previous software and you can collect the requirements from that software also. So all these things, all these 4 topics what I have written as an input to a domain analysis, it is going to be the requirements. So I am going to do all these kinds of surveys, all these kinds of requirements collection or a specification, and then I will put to a domain. Okay, so means I will do the analysis. I am going to compare all these requirements, all these things, and then what I am going to do as an output. So that is a models, design and the software. Models are nothing but I told you that is a conceptual. I am not telling we are going to design a real one, just we are going to imagine a conceptual model. So that is an abstract, just like a template. I am going to design it, I am going to keep it as a conceptual imagination. So I am going to design model like that. So for the designing of these models, I may use the use case diagrams, the sequence diagram, the class diagram that we used in our previous classes, right? We have studied use case diagram and we have even studied the class diagrams. Now we are about to study the sequence diagrams in the next topic. So means we are going to use those designs for the designing of the means coding part. And then after getting the design part, means the diagrammatic representation, we move for the software implementation through the coding or implementation we can tell. Okay, so we can tell it may be coding or an implementation, right? So first we are going to have a models, means we need to design a conceptual models. So it is I am not telling it may be the same order. So you will be having a requirement specifications, then you are going to have a design models, then implementations, then so you got a steps there. You will be coming across the software life cycle, right? So there you have studied. So you have got a steps, major steps there in order to implement the software. The same thing will be analyzed when you are going to do the domain analysis. Okay, so this is just a small topic. So what is a domain, how to do the analysis of a domain. Okay, so next we have got another topic. So till now we have discussed only one chapter in the second module. Okay, so till now, so from the analysis gathering, so how to gather the information, so from there, so up to your domain analysis, this is one chapter. Okay, so next we have got a second chapter. So that second chapter includes the design and implementation. So we are going to design and then we are going to implement. So here also we have design using a use case diagram and class diagram. Further it will continue in the second chapter of the second module, that is the design and the implementation part. So in the design we are going to include the sequence diagram. In implementation I am going to write up the coding parts, means pseudo codes we are going to write. Okay, so we will see that the second chapter, design and implementation. Okay, we will see the next chapter in the second module, that is the design and implementation. So in this part we are going to consider few of the questions. So that is how to design. Okay, so what are all the things we need to use before starting the design. So whether the platform is good. So which kinds of real-time application you are going to consider. So backend study what you are going to use, or a backend program what you are going to use. So the software which you are going to use. So whether the means the software we are going to implement it is secure or not secure. So we need to consider all these kinds of questions while before going for the design and implementation. So means we need to analyze. First we need to choose the appropriate programming language, and then I need to choose the platform in which I am going to implement that programming language, means the writing of that language. So you can choose any of the platform that is available. So platform, all you know, that is an framework, that is an environment where you are going to write and execute your programs, right? So that I need to choose efficiently. And then after that, while writing the codes, you need to consider, so how you need to provide the security, so in case of failure how it is going to work out. So those kinds of things you need to consider in the design phase itself. So with the abstract representation, if you represent those concepts, it will be helpful. So that is what we need to consider before going for the design and the implementation. So here we have taken two major subsystems for the design and implementation. One thing I have taken as a business logic. So business logic means we need to consider all the softwares nowadays are focused to a business only. Modern days, now they are all using office environment, classroom environments, universities, banking. So all the sectors are they are using in a business way, means they are all incorporating the software for the business, right? So in order to do the business softwares, so we need to consider what we need to collect the requirements first. We need to gather the requirements from the use cases, considering through the documents or through directly from the users. We need to consider those kinds of informations. So here in a business logic, we need to collect those requirements, process it. We cannot directly put those data which is received from the users or from a document. So they may be a wrong data. The data which is been given by the users may not be suitable while designing, right? So what I need to do, I need to analyze that one. I need to do the pre-processing of the data. So all this comes in a business logic. And then user interface. So after going through this requirements and refining of that requirements phase, so I need to analyze the user interface, how to provide the interface for the users so that it is attractable, so which is efficient use with respect to user and the system. So how means the performance of that particular software. So all this I need to consider while designing the user interfaces. So these are the two major subsystems I am going to consider. And now creating the software classes. In the first step, we need to create the software classes. How to create a software class? In the previous videos, we have seen how to write the class diagram for each and every classes. First, we have written a class diagram for what? Library. So I had written a diagram, right, with a one single box like this. For a library system, we had written a class diagram like this. So now I am going to access that class diagram, and now I am going to assign the classes for the same. So the members present for the library system, attributes of that library system. So those all things I am going to consider, and I am going to design a software classes for each and every classes we have written in the previous class diagram. So in that very first one was the library system. Moving forward, we have even written for the member. So for member, or you can even call it as a customer, right? So we had written a use case diagram, the class diagram for the member or a customer also. So there now I need to implement this to a software class. So in order to write as a software class, what I need to do? I need to assign the class name. I need to assign the attributes of the class. So attributes of the class you have come across: the phone number, name, address, the ID of the customer. So this all becomes to the attributes of a customer. So these things I need to consider now while writing or to make it as a software class. Okay, so this thing we have seen. Next we have even seen the book as a class diagram we have seen. So here in the book also we need to write the software class. While writing a software class, we need to write the name of a class, that is a book. So within that book you need to write the attributes of that book, that is the author of the book, book ID, the name of the book, so means that is a title of a book. So all you need to consider as the attributes. So while implementing the software classes, so we need to consider the class diagram for the reference purpose. So that will help you. So that's why we have written a class diagram in the previous videos. Now we are going for the software classes implementation through sequence diagrams and the coding part. So in the same way, we have even written a member and book relation. Okay, so we had written the class diagram for the member and the book also. For that also we need to implement the software class. We also even written for the borrowers class, borrows, old. For all this we had written a conceptual class diagram in the previous video. So now I am going to use the same topics, means we had written properties, that is attributes for the same. So this borrowers we have written a due date as a attribute, right? Due date was there. So due date means it is going to calculate some from the borrow date to which date you are going to return. So that was the attribute of this particular borrows. And for old we were written with a, that is a time period as an attribute, means how long you need to wait or how long days he is going to wait for the particular book. So that was an attribute. So for each and every class we have written in a class diagram. So everyone contain their own attributes. So now I am going to consider those attributes and the class names, and I am implement the same software classes. Okay. So moving forward, next we will see how to provide the interfaces. So how to assign the interfaces, okay, for the software classes. We will see that one through the sequence diagrams. Okay. So now we will see the next topic, that is assigning responsibilities to the classes. We need to assign the responsibility for each and every classes. So I have explained the class name book, the class name member, okay, the class name borrow, the class name that is old. So all this we have seen the different classes. Now I am going to assign the responsibility for those classes, means how they are going to work, how they are going to interact, the each and every classes how they are going to interact. So those things we are going to study through the sequence diagram. Okay. So under that, the first sequence diagram is registering a new member. You just recall the video of use case diagram. The first use case diagram also focused on registering a new member, adding a new member. Now the same use case diagram is represented as a sequence diagram now. So that is why here also I am going to use the first step, that is registering a new member. How to register new member through this sequence diagram. So go through this use case sequence diagram. So that is, it contains 3 classes. So user interface, library and the member list. So we need to have these 3. So why? Because so user interfaces is the one which is going to provide the communication between the system and the clerk and BF of the customers. So that is why. And then you will be having a library. So that is a domain. So means we are doing the case study on that library system. So that is why. And the member list, why? Because we are going to access the list of members, means we are going to add a members to it. So that is why a member list is there. So very fast, so you can just recall with the use case diagrams only. So always the clerk is going to initiate the process. So here also, in order to add the member, the clerk is going to request to a interface, that is nothing but a system. So you have got a first arrow mark, that is a clerk requesting for the user interface. So that is a system. So from that user interface, it is going to ask the clerk to fill out the data. So it is asking to clerk, so fill out all the data of a particular customer or a user. So already I have explained, the user is going to fill out the details of his basic information, name, phone number, address, all the related information will be filled in a hard copy in a form. So that will be used as a media to enter the data into a system as an interface. So that will be there in the second step. So next what happens after entering the details, so it is going to add or it is going to proceed those data, means information entered by the clerk. So the clerk is going to enter the information. That information will be carried out and it will be updated in a library system. Library member list, it will be there. No, there it is going to be updated. The name, phone number, address. So what are all the information that was present? So everything will be updated in the library. So moving forward in the next member list, so the same details should be updated in the, that is member list also, because the after registration with the library system, that member should be added in a member list. So that is why we need to have the links to a library to a member list that carries the information to a library system, and as well as it is going to update in a member list. After updating in a member list, it is going to replay back, means it is going to provide the acknowledgement to a library system. So means the member is being updated in a member list. Okay, soon after updating, so it is going to tell us true or false. That is a Boolean function. So Boolean function is, it is going to tell whether the member is being added or not, true or false. So it is going to replay that acknowledgement, and then that display message will be shown to a member. Means it is displayed in a system, so that will be seen by the clerk as well as the customer. So this is a basic basic information that what we have done in a use case diagram. The same thing we are going to follow in the sequence diagram. So that is the user is going to request first in order to getting a registration. After getting a registration, so means that information will be loaded to a library system, as well as it is going to maintain in a backend, that is a member list, the number of members who is been registered to a library, those things will be maintained in a member list. So the same will be replicated as an acknowledgement to the customer through a clerk. Okay, so that is the first sequence diagram. We'll see the next sequence diagram, that is adding the books. The next sequence diagram is adding of books. Adding of books to a library systems. We need to add the books to a collection. So that we also studied in a use case diagrams. In order to add the books to a library, so first we are going to get the books from the shipments. So then we are going to write the ISBN number for the book, the unique ID for the book. So those details we are going to print it on that one. And after printing those details, then he is going to add up the details, the received books to a library system, library catalog. So now the clerk is going to give a requisition to a system for an user interface. You can just see, for an user interface he is going to request. So after requisition, so the system is going to ask for the details of the book, what you need to enter to a system. So after that details required by the system, the customer or a clerk is going to provide those details. For example, the name of a book, the title, the author of a book, the ISBN number, the unique ID of that book. So those details will be provided by the clerk. After entering those details, the class or a arrow mark move towards the library system. Means we need to update each and every information to a library system. Library server will be there, no? There we need to update it. And after that we have got the catalog. So catalog means it contains all the elements, all the books that is present in a library system. We need to add there. As we have seen in the last sequence diagram where the member list was there, in that member list each and every member who registered for a library system, that list will be maintained in a member list. In the same way, each and every books registered to a library or which is being added to a library system should be maintained in a catalog. So catalog provides you the complete details of the books that is present in a library system. So that is why with the name, the address, the title of the book, the author of the book, so those details will be replicated, means updated to a library system as well as the catalog. After updating, so it is going to send you the true or false Boolean function. So whether it has been updated or not. So if means it is going to update true. If it is going to update false means some error has been occurred. So that is the thing. So otherwise it is going to give true and it is going to give the acknowledgement to a clerk, means the book is been added. So this is for one book. This is for one book. So you can just see in the diagram, we have got a loop back there. So that is the one box is there. So from a first step to a last step. So for the n numbers of book, if you have more than one book, you need to repeat the same step. So you need to repeat the same step. So that is why we have got a loop in the diagram. So when for only one book, this step is enough. So if you have more than one book, so you repeat the process entirely. So that is the sequence diagram for adding a new books. We'll see the next sequence diagram. The next use case diagram is, so that is issuing a books. So after adding the books to a collection in a library system, now we are going to issue the books. So what we need to do in order to issue the books? First we need to consider whether the member is being registered to a library system or not. So you can just go through this sequence diagram. So we have got the classes, that is a user interface, library, book, catalog and the member list. So we have got this many options. Now very first the clerk is going to request the system. So in order to issue the book on behalf of the customer who is going to request the book to get a issuing of that particular thing. So now the system is going to ask for the member ID. When the clerk requests to issue the book, so the system user interface, it is going to ask for the member ID, enter a member ID. Then for that reply, so the clerk is going to enter the member ID. So soon after entering the member ID from the clerk, it is going to be fetched, or it is going to cross check in the member list. That is the last option is there, no. So there it is going to check through the member portal and it is moving forward to the member list. So it is going to check it whether that particular user is being registered in a library system or not. So that details will be verified. After verifying, if it is okay, true, then it is going to ask for the book ID. So if the member is being registered, he is a registered member, then it is going to ask for the book ID. So then the clerk is going to type the book ID that is being bought by the customer. So after typing the book ID, it is going to check in the book field, book class, whether the book is present or not present. So through that book ID, it is going to check it internally in the system. So after that checking, so it is going to return whether it is true or not present Boolean function. And soon after that, if that is also okay, so then what it is going to do, it is going to update in a member list as well as in a member and even in the book field. So this particular book ID and it been issued to a member of that particular member ID, and each and everything will be updated in a member list, catalog and the book. Okay, so after updating, it is going to return to a user interface, that is it is being issued. After issuing, it is going to ask the question, you are going to have issuing of some more books or only one book. So if you are going to reply one more book is there to issue, that is yes, then the system is going to repeat entire process. So that is you can repeat the same process for n numbers of books. So you are going to issue only one book means it is going to exit the process. So that is how we are going to write the sequence diagram for issuing of the books. Next we will see the use case diagram, that is returning of the books. In order to return the books, it does not require the member ID, only book ID is enough. So now you can just see in the sequence diagram. So very first step, as usual, the clerk is going to request for the system in order to get a renewal acceptance. So then the clerk is going to request, right. So after that the system is going to ask for what? It is going to ask for the book ID, which book you need to return. So after entering that book ID from the clerk, it is going to moving forward for the book catalog. Okay, so book catalog, it is going to check the book ID whether he is entering the same book, so are the different book. Okay, so it is going to check in a library system as well as in a catalog. So means we will be having the catalog of books, right. So just recall the sequence diagram of the adding books. So there we add a catalog option. So each and every books which is being added to a catalog means added to a library system will be stored in a catalog. So that is why we are going to check in a catalogs. The book ID entered by the clerk should be checked in a catalog whether it is present or means whether it is being issued or not issued. So those details we need to check it, valid book ID or not. So those details we need to check in a catalog, and even it is updated to a library system. So when it finds, so it is going to update the same thing so into a member, means after getting the book ID, it is going to map that book ID with the member who is being issued to that particular book ID. So it is being updated with a member field. So that is a member will be having the IDs there, right. So that ID will be matched with a particular book ID which is being entered by the clerk. Soon after that it is going to check the Boolean condition whether it is a true or not true, means the book which is being provided by the clerk is being matched to the member ID that is present. So the same book is returning or some other book is returning. So that thing it is going to compare. So we need to check that with a Boolean function, true or false. So if it is true, then it is going to reply yes, it is been returned. So it is going to update the message to a clerk. After that the clerk is going to reply with yes or no if he is having the more book to return. So if he is having more book to return, so he is going to repeat the entire process for the number of books available that many times. If he is not having more number of book, only one book is there, so it is going to be exited. So means the simple sequence diagrams, the same thing what we have used in a use case diagrams, same thing will be represented in the sequence diagram. So you can just see in that sequence diagram you have got boxes, rectangular boxes, so that is open, so with the wide opening, so that is nothing but a lifelines. Okay, so those are all the lifelines. So and the dotted lines represent the acknowledgement, replay. Okay, so the moving arrow means the forward arrows, that is bold arrows, is going to indicate the requisitions, and the dotted lines, it is going to represent the acknowledgements. So that is what the sequence diagram is going to indicate. We will see the next sequence diagram. The next sequence diagram is removing the books, that is from the library collection system. We are going to remove the book from the library systems, the books which is not been used for a long while, the book which is not been in a syllabus right now. So old books, none of the customers has been taken with that particular books which is been kept for a long time. So those kinds of books will be removed. These things I already told you. So now in order to remove that book, we are going to write the sequence diagram like this. So as usual, we have got 4 fields here, that is the user interface, library, book and the catalog. So very first, the system, it is going to be interacted with the clerk. So means the clerk is going to interact with the system, he is going to request the system in order to remove the book from the library system. So in order to remove the book, so it is going to be requested, right. So after that, the system is going to ask for the book ID, the book which we need to remove. So after entering that book ID, so it is going to search in the library system, so whether it is been there in the library system or not, and the same thing will be searched in a book catalog also. Book catalog also contains the information, right. So it is going to be searched in the book catalog. So book catalog contains the list of all the books, and we need to check the rules also here. So that is the book should not be issued to any of the person, the book should not contain any olds on it. So those kinds of books only we can remove it, so otherwise we cannot remove the books. So we should consider those points in order to remove. So when it is going to be treated with the boolean function, that is a true or false, means we are going to cross verify whether the book is with that condition and whether the book is in catalog. So if we are going to find with the true, so then it is going to return message, means send a acknowledgement. So then it is going to updated in a catalog also, the book is being removed from the catalog and it is going to be displayed as a message to a clerk. So same way it can be repeated. So you can just see the loop back in the sequence diagram. So if you want to remove the n numbers of book, more than one book is there to remove, means repeat the operation. So you don't have the more than one number of books, only one book is to be there to remove. So then only one procedure, so otherwise you are going to repeat it. So that is what the thing. So that is about the use case diagram, that is removing of the books sequence diagram. Okay, so next we will see the next sequence diagram. The next sequence diagram is, that is member transactions. So member transaction, it contains the user interface, library, member list and the member fields. So here in the clerk is going to request the transaction details to be printed to a system. So now the system is going to ask for the member ID and the date from which we need to take the transaction printout. So then the clerk is going to enter the member ID. So after entering the member ID, it is going to be entered with the date also, from which date it is to be taken a printout. So that will be checked in a library system. Okay, so library system is, for each and every sequence diagram we are going to consider library system. Then it is going to be accessed in a member list. The registered member will be present in the member list, right. So that member list it is going to check with the boolean operations, means the member is present in that list or not, that is we are going to search it. After searching that, you are going to perform the iterator operation, means we are going to use the iterations to particular member, means we need to print out the transaction details, right. So that is why we need to consider the date mentioned by the member, and from starting date to a end date what he has specified, from that date we need to take a printout. So what we are going to use, we are going to use the iterator operation. Then after getting iterated, so we are going to have a details of transaction, the borrowing information, returning information, holding information. So all the information we are going to get in that particular member ID. So with the input as a data, so means date. So we are going to take that information and we are going to provide to the system, means the clerk. So the clerk is going to be displayed with that message, means he is going to take a printout of it and he is going to give it to a customer. So that is a sequence diagram for the member transactions. So these are all the sequence diagrams what we have discussed. We will continue with the same sequence diagrams in the next video. Thank you.